A quick sound check. We have sound. Welcome. We are live. I am Violet Hyena. You are here with perfect timing, and I am here to do readings for people with perfect timing. And here is the premise. I have 13 decks, Tarot and Oracle, and I use a playing I use a playing card deck to choose which one to get this week. And it's the beginning of stream. Welcome. And yeah, that was my phone. You'll hear it a lot. And I'm here, and I can read an oracle deck until people start popping in and dropping questions. I have to type something in the chat real quick. That way people know to drop questions. There we go. And then I'll pin. There we go. That's just my phone. Welcome, please drop your questions in chat and I'll give you readings. To fill the silence, I will be reading oracle cards. Yay! What else? Ah, yes. As you will see, if the chat is words. The chat is subscriber locked, so the key to that is just to hit the subscriber button, and then once you're subscribed, you'll get notified when I go live, and then you'll get even more free readings, and that will not only get you something, but it'll also get me something, because I strive to get 500 subscribers, and we'd be helping each other out. It's a win-win situation, and guess what? It's all free. Isn't that cool? Not a penny exchanged in that. And that is the information card. We do not read that. It is shy. It just stays in the box. Alrighty. I'm gonna get a drink of water before we start, because I am thirsty. Better. There we go. Alright, shuffle. And I gotta start the music. Yeah, background music. Hold on. Music. I need that. Oh, there we go. Yeah. Play. There we go. Little background sound. Okay. Francis, hi. And Francis says, hi, Violet. And I say, hi in return. Welcome. Welcome, welcome. And Francis says, oh my God, how are you? What you been up to? Oh, I hope you're doing well. I just had a tarot card meeting with some tarot card people who were fun, so that was pretty much the best time of the day. How about you? What'd you do? What was fun? Tell me good things. Tell me fun things. And yes, it sounds good because it was good. 2 hours of talking about tarot cards. Good times. And Francis says, I went to the zoo yesterday. Is a psychic. She read which animals were happy and which were not. What? That sounds fun. She's 64. The poor lady dragged her feet for nearly 3 hours. It still sounds like a good time. Can you please do a energy reading for Francis? Yes, I can do an energy reading for Francis. Let's do an energy read for Francis. Which deck? Which deck? We're gonna open up the question for all of the decks. for Francis tonight. A deck for Francis. A deck for Francis tonight. For an energy read. Okay, so it is 6 of Slytherin. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 Ravenwood turrets. Energy read. Nice energy read for Francis. Here we go. It is the 6 of Swords, so it's victory over a recent defeat. You're taking the knowledge of that defeat forward and into your next experience. So whatever you had failed at before, you are just simply taking on to the next project. I notice you. I can't get to you right now. I'm doing readings. Sorry, that was my phone. So yeah, it's a victory of the mind. So whatever logical puzzle you had that you failed at, you're just going to take whatever lessons you learned from that. You're going to take that victory and you're going to carry it forward into your next experience. And that is what the energy is right now. Learning lessons to take forward into the next part of your life. Into tomorrow. Alright. Can you do energy? Then John retracted a message, and John says, do you think shadow work is needed to conquer manifesting? Some of those words don't seem to go together very well. John, can you explain? And Francis says, nice, I love it. Gotta learn from the defeat. Alright, yeah, it's part of life. And Francis says, thank you, I appreciate the reading. And John says, not a tarot card question. Do you think shadow work is needed to conquer manifesting? And Francis asks, is Violet by any chance in the spectrum or identity is queer? I'm a mixed bag. I have torn off labels left and right. And Safi says hello, heart and rose. So what Violet identifies at the moment? I'm a tarot card reader at the moment. I know that seems like super focused on point right now what I am, but that is what I am right now. I have a lot going on that I am not ready to express online. Maybe another day. Just not today. It's been a pretty stressful weekend. Another time, maybe ask again. And John says, I mean, like, in order to become successful at manifesting and you struggle with it, do you feel like you would need to do some shadow work? And Francis says, all right, fat enough. Fair enough. And Francis says, okay, we'll do some other day. I'll quote Violet on that. Okay, teehee. Yeah, that's fine. It's just today's been an emotional day, so I'm not here for sharing about Violet today. Yes, I did a reading with you. I'm gonna get to John's question in a moment. Okay. So, John, how to explain manifesting? Okay. Okay. You know what? I'm going to mostly take my lessons from um Esther and Jerry Hicks. I've followed their work for many, many years. They are the line I kind of look at when it comes to manifesting the laws of the universe and the law of attraction, because they were in on building that as a building block, as a co-founder almost. Um, Manifesting is not your job. It is the universe's job. It is your job to get into alignment with the universe. And that means meditation and relaxing and getting into good feelings. And that is going to allow the universe to manifest things for you that you want. Now, you could do it the hard way and focus on things that you don't want, and then you get things you don't want. But it's really about focus. Where you put your focus is where you put things you want into your vortex, which gets manifested once you get into your vortex. And that means meditating and relaxing into the vortex. And therefore allows the universe to manifest things for you. I know that's a lot. I know it's a lot. It's a lot. And it's something I've been learning for years, since I was in high school even. Alright, so let's look back here. And Francis says, I respect that. Okay. We'll take it easy on Violet today, alright. Okay, thank you. Maybe tomorrow will be better. And John says, well, just law of attraction stuff. Yeah, me too. I've watched her lectures. Have you heard of Neville Goddard? I have heard of Neville Goddard. Esther and Jerry Hicks have always been my foundation law of attraction people I always go back to. Like, I go back to remind myself, because I have to. You just gotta keep going back and reminding yourself this is how it works. These are the base rules. These are not changing. These are not changing. The methods, there may be many methods, but the laws are set, and then you go from there. So it's always like returning to the basics is not only a fundamental thing in discipline, it's just the way the world works. Um Have you heard? Yes, Neville Goddard. Sometimes. Safi says, I think getting into alignment does involve some shadow work. John says, I just can't see it. That's why I can't believe it. Oh, you're one of those. Yeah, I've been into it for 8 years. Yeah, yeah. Um, I do understand you can't see it, and that's why you can't believe it because you haven't worked through it in your head. It's constantly in my head, and every time I figure stuff out, it always goes back to the law of attraction and how everything works energetically. And I'm like, well, I can't dismiss this anymore. This is true. So you do have to find how logic's out in your own head before you can accept it. And that could take years. It honestly could take years, depending on what you're working on. And Safi says, for example, have you noticed when you think people are out to get you, you just get a lot more of that? Oh, absolutely. Paranoia. That'll make you more scared. And yeah. And it's just, I keep returning to these lessons over and over again, and they keep turning out to be true, and they keep turning out to be helpful, and so I have to keep returning to them, and then I have to go, well, this is true, and then this is true, and then this is true. So the more you focus on stuff, the better you get at it, the better you know about it. It's magic. If you focus on it, it happens. It's really amazing stuff, and it's just so basic. And then the society has made you forget or didn't even teach you at all about this stuff, but these rules exist, and it's about as Esther and Jerry Hicks will say, words don't teach. Experience teaches. So they could say things one day and you don't get it. And then 2 weeks later, you have an experience. And then you go, oh, well, darn it, I get it now. And then the lesson just kind of sticks with you. And John says, the feeling comes first. Like you just gotta experience it inwards. Exactly. I mean, I don't, I don't it's exactly like that. You have to experience it. You have to absorb it into your soul almost as a lesson, but you gotta do it your own way. Because otherwise, you're just listening to authority blindly, and then you're not truly getting what everything is. The feeling comes first. Then Safi says, I mean, people are themselves. Some are good, some are bad, but I'm learning the hard way. Your frequency affects how how they react to you, and that is so very true. Yeah, that's how it works. More like a smell, haha. Well, you're not wrong. I mean, it is one of the six senses. So it is all about vibration. Yeah, the feeling. John says, I don't really follow LOA anymore. More Neville Goddard. And that is cool. You will find those gurus that speak to you, and if they are reliable and you keep going back to them, then that's just how it is sometimes. You just keep going back to the reliable ones to return to the basics, and that's okay. And Safi says, in my case, people around me keep knocking me down off my hardy built emotional pedestal. Yeah, honey, that doesn't stop. I'm sorry to tell you that. They're always going they're always going to do that. You cannot control people. I've learned that so many times, and I've had a harder lesson recently about that. And John says, it's all the same thing, though. I gotta pump this stuff in my mind. I know. And it can be frustrating, but the trick is to find out how to not make it frustrating and then relax into it and just let the world do its thing. But you gotta find out how to do that your own way, and you gotta do that in baby steps. And Safi says, yeah, I'm working on it. And John says, I gotta remember it's not my job to. Yeah, sometimes it's hard because society will tell you you gotta work hard and then you gotta play hard and then stuff like that. But it's really not that. I know that if I meditate, my day will be good and everything will work out. Do I get to do it every morning? Honestly, no. I like to. Those are my best days. But sometimes life gets in the way, and then you gotta go back to basics. Back to basics. And John says, it's the collective consciousness, the supermind, or whatever. It's the universe. Look, even on my wrists, I have reminders, and I never take these off because if I can remember to read them, then I'm in a better day. Because I have taken all the lessons from my years and I put them on silicone and around my wrists, which I never take off, and then I remember stuff and everything turns out lovely. But that was my method. I had these customized, so that way I remembered my lessons because only these words will affect me this way. It's like, okay, so it's almost like these are my focus points. So I allow blessings to flow, lucky, wealthy, vitality, blessed. These words will mean completely different things for you guys. But for me, these were lessons I went through and they needed to stay in my vibration, so therefore I put them on a hardy material that I never had to take off. I literally just washed my hands and I washed the bands, and they have stayed pretty sturdy for several years, and I really love them. And they're just a part of me now. And so these are helping me focus on what you might say magic, or what you may say energy, or you may say focus work. It's all kinds of how I've molded this life and the reminders to keep going down that path. Let's see. And John says, yep, because you're focusing on it. Exactly. I mean, what are these cards? These cards are focuses. These are how I dip my hand into the cauldron and draw up the magic. And it's all individual stuff. Like, every person will have individual stuff. It's very satisfying. Like, I love doing this work. Because it is a soul satisfying thing. And John says, I would disagree with Neville that entities are coming from your head. I wouldn't use that wording from Neville. But that is, again, his verbiage for what he's experiencing. As Esther and Jerry Hicks would say, I think their version would be, Esther gets blocks of vibration, which she turns into words. But I'm also one of those people where if I have a character in my head, their personality and everything will come through. And it's not like a possession or anything, because they're not forcing their way. It's a co-creation of this character coming through. And then when it's done, it leaves. It's a very cooperative and words. Co-creation. I work. See the words. Co-creating with the energies to do things in this world. It's fun. And John says, archetypes. And Safi says, but family does affect you big time. And John says, well, like how the gods were created like egregores. And Safi says, do you believe we come here with our ancestors' trauma and karma? As again, Esther and Jerry Hicks, their clever explanation was every relationship you make is eternal. So every relationship with your family, with your friends, once you establish it, it's forever. Through other lives as well, through this life, through the next life, those relationships are going to come back and go away and come back and go away. They also like to say that you did not come here to be in a feathered nest. You are here to grow and experience life. So your parents are not supposed to cradle you forever. It's just not their job. And only since I'm now my age, family can and will be there for you as a kind thing, but then you have to get up on your feet and do the adult thing. It is how life is kind of operated. And it's not like you will feel stuff to get off your butt and go do stuff because you have to be really uncomfortable to go out and do stuff for yourself. That's what I've learned. And sometimes you need that push. Sometimes you need to be angry, but you don't have to. What's the words? You don't have to get so angry and bogged down by family. You can focus on what you want and then go towards it, and then you are looking away from how your family is making you upset, and you're doing something about it. And that is the work that Esther and Jerry Hicks tries to aim us at, and I really appreciate that, because that is a better use of your time than being angry at old people. It's just not worth it, because those old people went through the same things we are, and we have to understand that they are this old because they survived it and they figured out how to. I mean, if they aren't that old, then they died. It's a lot of different perspectives. I don't believe in karma personally. I do believe in karma. I'll tell you about karma. Karma is a thing. Karma is a thing. Everything eventually comes back to you, good or bad. And that is why I never touch black magic. It's gonna come back. I would rather bless people and have the blessings come back. I want the blessings. I don't care how bad things were. I'm going to run away, just start focusing on better things again. And John says, I wish I was like Neville Goddard. I wish I could manifest like him. He has probably done a lot, and he's had a lot of experiences, and he's figured out his own magic and how to do stuff, and how probably to meditate and get into his energy zone. So it's good to have people to look up to, and, well, again, Esther and Jerry Hicks, I always go back to them. They figured it out, and they have helped me so many times in my life, and even though I've never met them, just to have, I guess you could call them my gurus or my teacher, just for my philosophies in life. And John says he was so confident. And Safi says, one thing I find incredibly effective is forgiving somebody. Like, I don't care if they killed your dog, just keep meditating on that and watch what happens. And John says, you like Joseph Murphy? Yeah, confident is so important. Joseph Murphy. I don't believe I know Joseph Murphy. I've always seen forgiveness as not for the person you're forgiving. It is for yourself. It is to forgive and then let go of that anger or that sadness and be able to move on. Because it's important that you move on more than them knowing that you forgive them. I think it's more important that you forgive yourself. And Safi says, in my case, I overthink way too much, and that keeps me from manifesting. And Safi says, exactly. I personally give the situation to God. Yeah, Safi. I mean, God and the universe are kind of interchangeable in a way, but I do not like the context of the word God because, let me just put it frankly, Jesus's fan club can get a little crazy cray. Just a little cray cray, and I don't want to use that word because I don't follow their belief system. The universe is a much broader term and it incorporates everything. But God is definitely, I understand using God as the context for also the universe. And John says he was after Neville. I think he died 6 years after Neville. And John says he spoke about him, IDK, if they knew each other. And Safi says, like, I can't carry this negativity anymore. Here, I forgive you for being a dumbass. Yes. Yeah, pretty much, yeah. Yeah. I try to have good relationship with God as a whole. I mean, the universe is my ally. I got no qualms, and the universe is, my backup. The universe is my ally. It's on my wrist. I mean, I guess before there were silicone wristbands, I probably would have gotten tattoos if it was years back, but I really don't like needles. And I have had to update these, so it's just easier for me to customize silicone bands and use them. Try to have a good relationship. And Safi says, I understand. Yeah. I mean, just today, I was insulted by my grandmother, and she was kind of rude to me in public, and we kind of had a fight. And then I had my tarot card meeting, and then there was this medium tarot card spread that we did, and then my grandpa told me to give my grandmother flowers, and I'm like, what? But she insulted me, but I did it, and then our relationship healed. And it was, I decided to listen to Grandpa, who has passed. So it only helped me and us fix what we had gotten all upset about instantaneously. Like, it all just evaporated as soon as they gave her the flowers. It was nobody's fault. No, but there was, it was an emotional healing point. So, what was I talking about? Yeah, so sometimes it just doesn't pay to stay angry. That was the thing. And then I could just stand by that she was rude and I should be respected. But she's my grandmother and she loves me and I love her, and Grandpa just came in and said, just shut up and give her flowers and everything will be better. I'm like, okay, Grandpa. So I listened to Grandpa and we fixed it. So, and then it just went back to that point, like, happy wife, happy life. And I'm like, I'm not her husband, but I kind of want to live nicely with her. So, okay, I will create harmony. She's been through a lot. She has no clue about most of this stuff. But if my grandpa's gonna drop me hints psychically, then I'm gonna do it, and it worked. So why fight what works, right? And John says, yeah, I mean, should you hex someone or forgive? You're gonna carry that around. Well, that hex is gonna come back and bite you. I would rather forgive and then be forgiven later. Because I F up all the time. So I hope that people forgive me. Because I also have come to understand that if I forgive, they will forgive because I am not perfect and they are not perfect. And to hold each other perfectly is very stressful. So I am just easy about forgiving people and saying, yeah, it's okay, I've done that too. So it's good for human relationships. And it's so true. It is so true that all these humans are emotional and they just need a break sometimes. And John says, if you curse them, you're not letting it go. That is correct. And John says, yeah, IDK. Safi says, I would say no hexing, unless it's a matter of life and death. I forgive, but I don't forget. I think that is a key, Safi. You can forgive, but don't ever forget. Because that is a lesson that you're going to take forward and be smarter. I have learned that recently too. And Safi says, but the word forgiveness is just so magical. It is kind of magical. I can agree with that. And John says, I don't want to hex people or curse people. Usually I wouldn't. And John says, yeah, if you gotta defend yourself, you should do baneful magic. I have to say no to that opinion. Respectfully. I don't know about your life. I'm sure if I was living your life, I might consider that too. I don't want the universe coming back and saying, hey, you did this thing. I have to return it 3 times because that is how magic works. And I have learned the value of action and consequences. And I'm going to let you do the same. I'm not going to tell you not to do anything, but I have learned my way, and you're going to learn your way, and I hope everything turns out really good for you. That's all I can do. That's all I can do. John says, well, what if someone was trying to harm you and your family? I would call the cops. Let the cops deal with it. That's not a magic thing. That is not a magic thing. Magic is, I only use good magic. If you, it is that an eye for an eye. If you stab someone and they stab you, then an eye for an eye, eventually everyone's gonna go blind. You gotta stop the cycle of violence. And Safi says, how about freezer spells? Do these come with payback? What's good magic, for example? Good magic? I mean, good vibes, good energy, good times, good stuff, good feelings. Like, okay, so a magic that I like doing is space magic. It's very simple, it's very cheap, You just go, you get some spices, you find the magical qualities, and you mix them together. And then you put them in your food, and then you get the magical properties in your body. Isn't that fun? And you get to eat. You get to eat. And food is good. Food is your friend. And also, I mean, that's one branch of that I am in because I love spice magic. I love spice magic. I have my own jar of spice mix that I put in my food, and if I don't put it in, then it just doesn't feel right anymore because I'm not eating the magic. And John says, "Yeah, unfortunately, I can't do much with magic right now." So, John, what do you want to do with magic? I mean, I understand that you live in a household which won't allow it. Plant Magic Kitchen Witchery. I love Plant Magic and Kitchen Witchery. It's good stuff. And it's not overtly like woo-woo scary paganism to the Christians. Because if you're cooking, you're making food and sustenance for your body. And that's a good excuse. And Safi says, so the intentions you set into the food matters. Absolutely 100%. If you feel bad about the food you eat, you should not be eating it. But there's just a lot of energy around that. So Abraham Hicks, I really like what they say. Food is my friend. You have to feel better about what you put into your body, and that will help energetically a lot. Like, food is your friend. If you believe that food is your friend, then you don't stress out so much about what you're eating, and then you're just a happier person. And John says, well, my parents watch those mega preachers, so to them it's demonic. Oh. So John, you are 28. I'm just gonna ask gently, you don't have to answer. What is stopping you from moving out of your parents' place? And Safi says, I had a coworker, I would catch her fixing my tea box or water bottle trying to hex me like that. Ooh, that's nasty. I'm sorry to hear that, Safi. And John says, I have to hide my crystals and cards, whatever. John says, long story. I know I'm old. John, you are not old. You are 28. You are still a baby. And John has retracted a message. John says, lol, typo. I don't want to blow my money again. Money, you make it sound like you have a limited amount of money and you can't make it ever again. And John says, well, if that's what I focus on, I won't. Exactly. You got it. I gotta change what I'm focusing on. Exactly. I mean, I do kind of recommend Money and the Law of Attraction cards. It really does remind me about how money works. It's really good. Money's your friend. You gotta love money. I gotta change what I'm focusing on. Money is energy. Exactly. And also, money is a tool, and you use tools. Money is not good. Money is not evil. Money is a tool. And John says, are you familiar with Brian Scott? I am not familiar with Brian Scott. And John says, I've listened to his manifesting money meditations. You know, these days, I feel like I'm speaking like an old woman. These days, it's easy to just pull up a YouTube video about manifesting money and being a money manifester. And I really appreciate that about the recent technology and information about that these days, because now I can turn on music that has positive affirmations, and we didn't have that when I was younger. Like all this positive stuff from the internet, oh, it's just mwah, chef's kiss. I love it because this is the stuff that um Esther and Jerry Hicks would talk about, and you had to make your own. You had to always, it was always from scratch. It was always magic from scratch. But now you can go on YouTube and listen to a good feeling video, and it helps you get into the higher vibrations. And then it can help you get into your own personal stuff. But it was like, oh, we had to struggle. I definitely feel like my age right now. Oh, we had to struggle with our vibrations back in the day. Good stuff. And Zafi says, I like to listen to Abraham Hicks, even though it sounds like gibberish sometimes. Abraham Hicks, I've always loved listening to them because they feel good. Because even though it didn't quite make sense, it felt good. I've always been drawn back to them for that reason. And that is why they keep continuing to be my basics, because if I feel bad and I turn on Abraham Hicks, it's just I get brought back to my source because I learned from that. I have all the lessons from that. I feel safe with it. I feel grounded. It's all really good stuff. Cause sometimes you will absorb the lessons, and just sometimes you're not ready for the lessons. And the Abraham, where was it? I think it was in the books. In the books, they would say more. No matter when you read this, um, it is designed by vibration for you to absorb it at the perfect time. So if you're not ready for it now, you'll come back to it later and get the lesson. And it's really clever, it's really true, and it's like, wow, they didn't make this up. This is legit. This is for real. This is like, wow, I've learned the basics of the universe so young. Now what? Well, it's time to go live life. And Safi says, I feel like everyone we see on TV talks like that more or less. Yeah. Well, they have learned their lessons and then they try to pass on those lessons through words. And there kind of are limited words to describe some stuff. And John says, she doesn't make a lot of sense sometimes. Abraham Hicks. Oh, I've been like. How do I put this? It it's layers, man. It's layers upon layers of knowledge and vibrations and lessons and books and CDs, and it's really funny because it always goes back to the basics, but it takes a long time to absorb all of it and process it and then use it in life and get the experience. It's like this it's a really long and fun journey. It really is. Because they're not giving you a how to, they're giving you a how. that's a that's a funny way to put it. They're like giving you a playbook with multiple ways to do stuff. Like their way is meditation, and everybody meditates differently, and meditation can be this way, or meditation can be this way. It could be 10 minutes one day, it could be 20 minutes the next day. But then you're getting personal information from your source, and your source is personal. Yeah, I like to listen to her rampages. I love her rampages. I love her. Um, I think, I think it was a morning rampage. I still listen to that one actually in the mornings, as my 10-minute meditation. It was a morning rampage about getting up and starting your day well, and it still helps me. I mean, basically, I use that as my meditation, and if I do my meditation, I have a really good day. It's pretty simple, straightforward, and I was able to do it most of the time before work. And John says, I don't like those big YouTubers like Aaron Dubley and others. They put out content for the views and the monetization. It's not really anything with substance. I'm not sure who Aaron Delty is. And John says, I used to watch those guys, but not anymore. Yeah, you're gonna feel it or you're not gonna feel it, and you're gonna have different days. It's always changing. I've gotten used to that. It's nothing is stuck. Nothing is stuck. You can stuck yourself, but once you understand that nothing is stuck, then you're good. Everything is always changing. I mean, I try to be consistent, but everything is always changing just a little bit. Jones says he's a big YouTuber. He's got like 2 million subscribers or whatever. Jones says definitely knows a lot, but he doesn't really put out anything with substance. That's why I like Brian Scott. Yeah, again, you're going to be attracted to, you're going to be attracted to what is going to help you out. And you're also going to be attracted to what your vibration is putting out. The law, well, I have the cards right here. The law of attraction is what is like unto itself is drawn. And like attracts like. Aaron Delpy is a salesman. That's what I like Brian's got. Yeah, I'm not going to judge him, mostly because I haven't watched him or anything. I have a strange relationship with salesmen and saleswomen because you have to have a point. Well, okay, so I'm not going to say that. You can be a salesperson who benefits everyone with like good priority, good philosophies, and then you can be a salesperson who does not care about people, and only thinks about making the money. And so I can't look badly or goodly at the word salespeople, because they could be trying to help others with the philosophy or with their product. It might be a genuine, hey, this helped me. I'm putting this out there so other people can get better. Or it could be another gimmicky thing by a salesperson, but it's not our job to judge that. It is not our job to judge what people buy from that, because salespeople are trained to solve a pain. They're solved to find a pain point and then sell to that pain point. And some people have pain. And some people want that solution, even though you may look at that solution and say, that's not needed. This person needed it. And that is part of what the universe is. It is a mess, but it's a coordinated mess. And you gotta understand that people are at different points, and if they're not going to fulfill them in some ways, then they have to find alternative ways, and it's just one big system of universal alignment after universal alignment after universal alignment. I mean, if you are good and stable, then you will look at all that and go, I don't need that. But if you are in pain, if your arm hurts, and you're told this helps, you are going to probably go get that. And if it helps, then it helps. People go and do what works. Wow, I just talked a lot, and I need a drink now. So Safi says, like doesn't always attract like. That's the thing. So, Safi, I do have an opinion, but I want to hear you out first. Go ahead. And John says, I have coaching from manifesting coaches before. I've had coaching from manifesting coaches before. Do you believe in moon water? I have crystal water. Does that answer your moon water question? And Safi says, manifesting coaches sound like a great idea. In my case, my empathy, for example, really works well for me. Nice. And hypersensibility. Yes, I have that too. It sucks. But we have it. And Safi says, I only seem to attract bullies. I mean, you're not wrong. But also, the statement that you only attract bullies is continuing the statement and continuing the energy of attracting bullies. And I know I'm using exactly the words that Abraham would use, but you're bringing back the energy of attracting bullies. And John says, I don't believe in the idea of if you focus on good things, you get good. If you focus on bad, you get bad. Oh, honey. And Safi says, or people who want to use me as a therapist. Yeah. Here's the thing, a lot of people just want to be listened to. And some people will forcefully, almost socially try to make you listen to them. And that, I feel, is disgusting. And I understand where that comes from completely. And so I have learned that headphones are my really good friend. And I will use them, and I will walk away from old people when they want to tell me stuff I don't want to hear. Like, I don't listen to politics, I don't listen to medical stuff, and I don't listen to, what were my three? Politics, health concerns, and what was the other one? I forgot the other one, but I will remember it as soon as I hear about it. And John says, I have some problems with the law of attraction. I know it's true, but I struggle with that, says Safi. And John says, you know what law of assumption is? It's based on Neville Goddard. I don't know the law of assumption. I don't really listen to Neville Goddard. Safi says, and I feel whatever people put out, and that's terrible, because where I come from, they come at you with bad energies, like at least they want to humble you or hurt you. Right. Or they think you haven't seen a difficult day in your life because you're soft and try to stay positive. Another thing I've learned in life is that you can't control people and what they think. And it's hard. Some days it's really hard because not everyone is smart. Sometimes, how to put it? I've learned being a hermit is really beneficial for me. Because you need some recovery time from people. And it's like when you find really good people, you gotta latch on to them and just try to be around those kind of people as much as you can be. Because if the people around you suck, then that is your energy. And then it is up to you, because it is your life, to figure out those solutions. And we are all on that path. Uh, it's a lot. It's not, life is not easy. It's complex. I wouldn't call it hard, but there's a lot of things that go on, and you gotta find your own consistent way of doing things. And that's kind of the fun of life, is that you get to find out how things work. And once you find out how things work, you can have that problem over and over again and be able to solve it over and over again. And then you become good at the thing. And then once you become good at the thing, you make money at the thing. It's the world is an amazing place. And sometimes you get so used to something that you forget that, and society makes you frown at stuff and forget about stuff. But it's really a good system. It really is. I don't think it's broken at all. I think it works really well. But it does get harder as you get older, because you have baggage that you had to learn from, and then you take those lessons from the baggage so you don't have to have more baggage later. It's complicated, and you go forward as much as you can. And you always try to seek the solutions. Well, let's see here. Yeah. John says law of attraction is doing a bunch of steps, and law of assumption is about simply accepting the state of what you want to attract. Law of attraction is about law of assumption is about simply accepting the state of what you want. Law of I do have a correction for John's, but I'll come back after I read some more chat. John says much simpler. Safi says, so they want to fix that. And I'm like a surfing board, I just gotta go with every wave. John says, it's literally impossible to feel good all day long. Safi says, they're very rare these days. Safi says, I do think some coaching would help me. John says, a good spiritual teacher I tune into is NU Life Tools Brother Yosef. And Safi has retracted the message. And John says, you gotta watch out for energy vampires. Safi says, what do you do about energy vampires? The worst part for me is I don't have a father around, so I'm lacking some core masculine energy. So, energy vampires are those people who are trying to get you to listen to them, and they want to press onto you their negative stuff. What I do with energy vampires, first off, garlic. Garlic is super good for all kinds of vampires. And you are supposed to put it around over your doorways to keep out the energy vampires. Second of all, for a more practical approach, put on headphones, put on good music, and just be that annoying person who plays music, and the energy vampires will be annoyed because the first thing they try to do is talk to you and get you to listen to them, because people are trained from a young age to answer questions and listen to their elders, and it's a very bad system, so you gotta kind of break away from that. And okay, so I'm gonna put it very frankly, you gotta be a bitch. Sometimes you just gotta be that, I don't care, get out of my way, I have my headphones on, I'm getting out of here, bye, have a great day. And it's actually just more fun to be like that and let them think whatever they're gonna think and go about your day and have as much fun as possible. Sometimes you gotta be the mean girl. Sometimes you gotta be the mean girl, because the mean girl does not care, and sometimes you got to not care. Being the good girl, being the good boy, really does not help you. Sometimes you need to take care of yourself. That is how you get away from the energy vampires, because they will suck you dry, and nobody is good when they've sucked you dry. Let's see. And Sophie says, worst part for me is I don't have a father. Right. Core masculinity and masculine energy. John says, I find that law of attraction is about doing a bunch of stuff and then you've aligned with. And the law of assumption is simply getting into the state of what you want. I still have a thing to say about that. John says, simply assuming it's. And Safi says, I'll check out NU Life Tools. And John says, you don't have to raise your vibration, all that stuff. And Safi says, I don't want to be a bitch because I quite literally hurts me to hurt people. I'm not saying for you to go hurt people. I'm saying you gotta let yourself help yourself, and sometimes yourself has to be harder. And Safi says, but yeah, I'm gonna have to eventually. Look, it's not about hurting people, it's about taking care of yourself. Because when you become an adult, mommy and daddy aren't going to be there. In fact, biologically, adults kick out their children once they've outgrown the nest. Baby birds fly. Some animals, they're not they're not cared by their parents for their entire lives. They have to grow up. It's natural for kids to grow up. And my psychological way of getting through the fact that my parents got divorced and that I was the result of two people who did not love each other is that I am the best of both parents, and I'm using what they gave me in life. And that's it. I may be both of them, but I'm the best of them. I'm going to utilize what they gave me. It's mine, and I'm going to use it to my benefit because I'm the best of them. Whatever they think about each other is not my business. They are no longer raising me. I am no longer under their roofs, and I'm going to stay that way. Safi says, my mom is worse than the news. Yeah. Yeah, I also don't listen to the news, now that you brought that up. What was one of the sayings about the news? Nah, I don't want to bring it up. The news is just, unless it's specifically good news, I don't listen to it. I don't need to know all the bad stuff that's going on. And if people are going to come at me with the news, I run away. I run far away. Far, far away. I know John is 28. I actually do not know Safi's age, and I don't know if you are adult age. And Safi says, I did experience law of assumption. Just recently, but I have to manifest in the middle of the night and this point because I can't protect my energy. And Safia says, I'm 28 just like John. Okay, you are both babies. I'm sorry to use that, but I am much older than both of you. I know, I look at the words I have to manifest when you guys use it, and it's like, why do you guys think that it's your job to manifest? Because it's not your job to manifest. It's the universe's job to bring you what you have aligned with. Because it's step one, you get the experience, and then law of attraction gets ready what you have focused on, and then you manifest it by going meditating, getting into your vortex, and then you get out of that, and then you go about your day. I mean, you could manifest by default, but nobody wants that. And Safi says, I can literally feel negatively for the room next to me. And Safi says, true. Safi, I do completely understand. You can be in the same house as somebody who's feeling negative, and it will bog you down. And it's terrible. It's one of the worst feelings in the world. It can cause depression. And it does depend on your situation. If you're feeling that bad at home, it is often better that, hey, you go out somewhere else and do something that makes you feel better. I'm not sure how practical that is in your situation. And Safi says, yeah, okay. So, as an example, me and my grandmother, I would not say we got into a fight. I would not say that, but we had a conflict. And the only way it got better in the house was that I had to go to my tarot card meeting, and then I came back with a solution. And it helped our relationship immensely because I was guided to that. So sometimes leaving the bad feeling place is the best thing. And then you can find a solution and then bring that solution back to home. That is the best case scenario. But I understand, and I have been in the situation where home is always going to feel bad. I have been in that situation. It's an awful, depressing, downward spiraling mess. And sometimes you're stuck there. So I understand if you can't always do that. And I understand if the problem persists, if it's a person who refuses to find the solutions and is depressed or going through whatever negative emotions they're going through, it's not your job to make them happy. It's their job to make themselves happy. And it's your job to make yourself happy. Nobody else has that power. I've learned that. Yeah, Safi. Safi says, I do find myself reparenting the family. Yeah, so Safi, I completely understand because I parented my mother as a child. And it sucks. It absolutely sucks, and sometimes you're stuck there, and then you are brought into the feelings of family and, guilt trips and just being in a household to conserve money, and it's a mess. It's a mess and it doesn't feel good. So I don't know what your situation is, but I do understand how stressful it can be, and it sucks. But it's not always going to be like that because everything is always changing. The universe is always changing. It's always refreshing. Nothing ever stays the same. You never step into the same river twice. And Safi says, but it's teaching me to mind my own business. It said 100%. 100%. Absolutely. Mind your own business. Okay. John has brought up the law of attraction and he thinks there's a lot of steps. And the law of assumption sounds exactly like the law of attraction, but in different words. Because if the law of assumption is working out for John, then he's allowed to follow his law of assumption if it's working for him. We all have to do what works, and we are here not to be the same people. We are here to be diverse and different. And in our differences, we find power. It's awesome. And Safi says, I hope I can get My soul tribe soon. Soul tribe. Interesting. Hey, Safi, define soul tribe, please. Good people. Good people are good. I agree. It's nice to find good people. Ah, I'm not ready for people again. I do appreciate good people. And I have tended to honor the fact that a lot of people try to be good. Um, but now that I'm older and I've been through some stressful situations, I am cautious about people because I've been through some stuff. And I don't really feel like pulling it out on online here. It's very stressful. And Safi says, "Who will choose me and will choose them? And we will be in each other's life for a long time. And they will help you lift yourself up, and you do the same for you, for them." Yeah. And Safi says, "I have been hurt too." Yeah. I'm not waiting on good people anymore. Oh, I will, honey Safi. I believe you. I believe you 100%. I believe you have been hurt. I have been hurt. And Safi says, "Same. My last job was a, well, warfare." Yeah. Ah. That feels heavy. And Safi says, "People would come at your desk and talk about you saying stuff like, 'We have left her nothing.'" So they would unleash their negativity onto you without your consent. So much negative and so much negativity. Again, look, those energy vampires, they suck. They suck every ounce that they can from you to make themselves feel better. It sucks. They might know what they're doing, or it's the only way they've ever been taught to manage what stress they're going through. And it's heavy when they just lay that on you. And then you're left with this stinky pile of negativity and you didn't want it. And it's really hard sometimes to not unload that onto the next person. But that's when you gotta try to stop it and squish it where it hits. Otherwise, it'll keep on passing around and it gets stinky in the air, and nobody likes that. And Safi says there is a girl from there who got married recently. At her own wedding, she came in front of the coworkers and made a very obvious bully pose. Well, it was her wedding. I guess she's allowed to do that. Safi says, like, that's what they would do at the office, but girl, you're on video and you invited them. And Safi says, what was it? Islands? And Preston says, hello. Hi, Preston. And Safi says, like this. Yeah. Safi, that does sound very stressful. I need a nap after all that. I don't know about you. And Preston says, can I ask who's thinking about me? Yes. You know what? I'll happily do a reading for you, Preston. I'm gonna open it up for the whole armada here, for all the decks. Oh, and I do have to remind everyone, I stream for 2 hours at a time, and I've been streaming for an hour and 45 minutes, so this is just like a 15-minute warning. Big talk today. I've enjoyed our long talk. Very insightful. Okay, so which deck? This says cat turret. Maybe a cat is thinking of you, Preston. Cats are the best. I'm not downplaying that at all. Cats are the best. So if you got a cat thinking about you, that's true love. True love is from a cat. when I get my own place again, I'm getting a cat again. My grandmother is allergic. So it sucks. But once I get my own place again, I'm getting cats. And I'm feeding the crows. So I'll have crows and cats. It will be amazing. Okay, let's see here. We have... This is the 5 of Cups, I believe. Or it's the 5 of Pentacles. I'm going to check the book. Yeah, it's the 5 of Cups. So, water. Let's see. So, this is really funny. This cat is looking up at its owner, and it's not looking down at the bowls at all. It's looking like it has food in its dish, but it's not even looking at the food in its dish. It's just looking up at the owner and begging for more. They just refuse to look at what is before them, and they're not seeing what they have available to them. Let's see. One more. Hold on. Queen of Pentacles. Okay. A puzzle box. That's great. So who is thinking of you is someone you're not. Someone that Preston is not. The person who's thinking about Preston is someone that Preston is not paying attention to. Because the cups are down here. But I feel like there is a very intentive person. It's the Queen of Pentacles. It is a mother figure who has stable finances, who is thinking about you, Preston. And that is the person who's thinking about you. So you have someone who is thinking very fondly of you. But you are just not looking at them. You are focused on everything else around you. Alright, and that is what the cards have to say. And if it's any constellation, they are cats, and cats can be lions, and it could be a Leo, for all I know. Alright, and then let's see. Safi says, can I ask, will I find the chain I'm thinking about? That's a very good question. That's a very good question to ask the cards. Preston says, 100% Purple Heart Rose. Thank you. I think that's about around the time I said cats are like the best. Cats are true love. And Safi says, is it gone for good or just somewhere in my stuff? So, can I ask where to find the chain I was thinking about? You may ask, is it gone for good or somewhere in my stuff? Let's find a good question for that. I'm going to write this down just so we have the correct question. Is Safi's chain in her stuff? Okay. That is what I want to phrase it as. Because the phrasing of questions is pretty important. Because you gotta know what you're asking before you can get your answer. Is Safi's chain in her stuff? I'm gonna pick a deck. Number 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Everything you do is magic, you know. La 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 la. It's magic, you know. So we have the deck, we have the question. Is Safi's chain in her stuff? Is Safi's chain in her stuff? Is Safi's chain in her stuff? And the answer is yes. Is Safi's chain in her stuff? Yes, it is. Oh, this is very clever. It's the hanged one. So the hanged man, and the hanged man is the my major arcana. First off, it is the representation of looking at something from a different perspective. And it's in your stuff. It's just under something. You could easily have something behind something and you're not seeing it. Like, it's just doing that. It's hidden. And it's just about, turning something a certain way and you'll be able to see it again. It's in your stuff. Your chain is in your stuff. You just have to find it. And sometimes it's about perfect timing. Maybe you're not supposed to find it now. Maybe you're supposed to find it later. So I hope that helps you out. I always let the universe bring my stuff back to me. It's not lost. I just put it down somewhere. It'll come back. And you gotta trust the words you say. And Safi says, it does. Heart, rose, hopefully. Yeah. It will come back at the perfect timing. That's always what I tell my stuff. You'll come back later. In my line of affirmations, I do have that phrase, perfect timing. It is in my energy. I have always cultivated those words, perfect timing. And therefore, I don't worry about a lot of stuff because I know there's perfect timing, whatever you want to call it, divine timing, God's timing, universal timing. It all works out. It all really does. So I've always cultivated that energy work. I know we were talking about that earlier. So it's just one of those affirmation things and it always works out. There's perfect timing. It'll work out. And it is a reminder that 2 hours is my limit, and I am at 1 hour and 57 minutes. So I'm probably going to be closing out soon. I'm going to have a drink of water. But I really enjoyed the conversation today. It was really good. It was very insightful. And excuse me. John asks, do you know how to use runes? I do not. Runes were never my flavor. It's not bad. People can use them very well. It was just never my flavor. They never felt quite right to me. I mean, with your heritage and ancestry, they might do very well for you. And Zafi says, can I ask what is the universe trying to push me to do? Yes. Last cards. John says, they're cool. I'd rather use cards. Yes, maybe. Yeah. I'm not Norse, so working with those kinds of things haven't jived with me. Again, we have all sorts of magic to solve all sorts of problems, and it's all individualized. John says it's my thing. Norse stuff. If it's comfy, if you're comfy with it, use it. Okay, so which deck for Safi? Ace of Slytherin, so the cat deck again. Cat turrets. What is the universe trying to push Safi to do? What is the universe trying to push Safi to do? And Huncho Man says, hey, I just came across your channel. Hi, welcome, and thank you for subscribing. Welcome. I have hit my 2-hour mark, but if you are new, I can allow one question before I gotta go. And then you can come back tomorrow and ask for more questions. But right now, let's see. For Safi, what is the universe trying to push her to do? What is the universe trying to push Safi to do? Yes, so Hunchman, if Honcho Man, if you have a question, go ahead and ask it. I am, like, my pattern is that I stream for 2 hours at a time, and I have been streaming for 2 hours and a minute. Since you are new, I'm giving a little bit more time for you because I really want to give you good reading. Right now I'm doing Safi's, so I'll get to you in 1 moment. Okay. And the universe says to Safi, Six of Wands. So victory in action. The universe wants you to take all of your lessons and put it into action in your life. I'll say that again, Safi. The universe wants you to take all of the lessons from your stressful adventures. It wants you to take all your lessons and take it forward to you in your life. It is okay to take those lessons forward in life. You're doing great. Alright? Alright, so to Honcho Man. I had a girl named Jamila who I met years ago. Felt like she came up against me with others spiritually. Just would like more clarity on the situation. It's been a long couple years for me. Believe she was in a dark cult or something trying to take me out, please. I liked and subscribed. Thank you. I appreciate that. It helps out me and the channel. Literally felt like they sent all types of dark magic at me. I lost everything. Okay, that girl. Want more clarity on the situation. Alright, so let's see how to handle this. Cards work better with questions. So if you had to form all this into a question, yeah, it's okay. You don't have to tell the long story, because that's enough context as it is. What you want more clarity. You want more clarity. What kind of clarity do you want, Honcho Man? And Safi says, so should I carry the lessons with me and act like it, not leave the bad stuff behind? Up to this point, denial has been the way to go for me. Had been denial. Well, Safi, when bad things happen, you learn that you don't like them. And so how you take your lessons is you find out that those things do not work. So then you can take them to the next day and you say, okay, I didn't like that. Let's try something new. So the universe is encouraging you to keep finding what works, and it might take a few times, but it's encouraging you because you will find the answer. And Honcho Man says that was Jamela intention towards so much stuff happened spiritually. I'm 100% sure she did something underhanded, like why me, and she barely knew me. Okay, so that is more information. Okay, so why did she choose to focus on Honcho Man? Let's make that the question. Jamila. So why did Jamila focus on Honcho Man? How about that? That sounds like a really good question for your situation. And then I'm going to pick a deck for you. Which deck is the Jack? So 11. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Prisma Visions deck. Okay, Honcho Man says, I was doing so good before running into her. Did she work with other? What magic was she doing? Like, it's a long story, just want to get to the bottom of the situation. So we are going to focus on this question and not dive too much into the facts, because this moment was, it seems like there's a lot of explanation for a very brief meeting. So we're just going to focus on this question for now instead of all the rest of it. So why did Jamela focus on Honcho Man? Let's see, why did Jamela focus on Honcho Man? Okay, so first we got Seven of Swords. You got the Magician. Ooh, lovely. And then we got the Knight of Wands. Logically, she was very calculated, very confident in her abilities. She knows she had the power to do it, because she took in all the logical things, and she knew she could do it. And the Knight of Wands, she put it into action. So she's smart. She could look at everything like looking at a chess game, understanding how all of the pieces moved, and then she could play it. And unfortunately, you were her opponent at that point. She picked you because you were an easy prey, and she bounced. And she did it for fun. And I think that's the worst part. She did it for fun because she could. And it was a power play. And it was very unfortunate for you. And it was unfair. That she chose someone who really didn't deserve it. But she was testing her own power. And that is what the cards are saying. And it sucks. I do not like delivering that message, but that is exactly what the cards are telling me. And Safi says, thanks, hon. Good night. Good night, Safi. Rest well. And Hunch Oman says, thank you for the truth. You're very welcome. I'm sorry. Some people are just like that, though. It's very unfortunate that she decided to test out her powers on you. I am over my 2-hour limit. I do want to thank you for your question, Huncho Man, and again, thank you for subscribing. I stream every night, so in 22 hours I'll be back. And then if you have any other questions, you can bring them into chat and we will do them. So I will see you tomorrow, and you have a great night. Try not to guilt yourself too bad. It's not your fault. Just rest easy, knowing that sometimes people just do bad things to make themselves feel better. It sucks. Have a good night. Rest well.